Okay, so at any stage in this, if anybody wants to ask a question or put your hand up, we are here to help. So please feel free to ask questions at any stage. And I'll try not to bore you all with endless slides and what have you. But welcome everyone to WebProof's webinar this afternoon. I'm delighted to see so many people here. I'm James. I have a background in advertising, marketing and graphic design. And I'm joined by Peter, who is our technical manager, who's going to be helping today with any tricky questions. So, hey, Peter.
Hello, James, and hello, everybody. I'm Peter, and I have a background in retail, marketing, and production as well. So I have you can say, the more technical approach, and I will be assisting James with any questions you might have. So you can just ask the questions in the questions box, and then we will follow up at the end of the webinar. So yeah.
Great. I'd love to find out a little bit more about who we have here today. So if everyone can just type your industry sector and where you're from, it'd be nice to sort of get a bit of information. Hi, daughter. Did you have a question? Okay, that's great. Hi, Cindy Qualia. Hi there. And so let's just move on a little bit. And what we're going to be looking at today, we're going to be looking at a basic introduction into the world of online proofing and collaboration, and just why designers, project managers hate their inbox, and why we're forever sort of proofing and correcting designer errors. And we're going to be looking at two main factors today, which seem to rule everyone's lives, which are time and money. So with time, you can always make money, but no matter how much money you have, you can never create more time. So all you can do is obviously choose how to spend your time productively, which obviously gives you more time for the things that you love, or to make extra money, of course. So if we talk about costs for a minute, and this is all taken from an industry referenced white paper. It's there, it's available as a handout. So as far as we can ascertain, there are two types of costs, visible costs and invisible costs. So visible costs to a business, or a person for that matter, are going to be things like assets, things you buy, tangible things, taxes, we've all got to pay them, salaries, things like that. And invisible costs, if we look at some options, I don't know, it could be coffee in the toner. I mean, someone's got to pay for the coffee and milk. It could be toner. It could be feeding the parking meter outside. But we're going to focus on the chief invisible cost, which is time. So time can be spent non-productively in many, many ways. It could be looking out of the window. It could be, I don't know, smoking outside, doing nothing, doing the same thing over and over and over. Tasks which can be automated these days. So our main message to you today, and if you remember nothing else, is that there are visible costs and invisible costs. So we're all human beings, of course, and we need a break. Today they say 10 minutes an hour. But what we learned from this study is that big savings doesn't necessarily come from big changes or big investments. It can come from many small, minute changes. And I wanted to just, I'm going to get a highlighter here. I don't know if you can see, just draw your attention to this ISO 27001 logo, explain a bit about what that is. Basically, it's the highest level of information security available. I just see a question come in there. I mean, many email servers don't even have ISO 27001. So whether you're using WebProof or another online proofing company, you want to ensure that they're offering ISO 27001. But to the best of my knowledge, WebProof is the only online proofing platform to actually offer this. I just see a question here, and yeah, I think Peter's answered that for me, so that's fine. And just looking some chat. Okay, great. So if there's no questions, I'll just move on to the next slide there, and we're going to look at a brief history of time. And and money. So, I mean, so some of you might be forgiven for thinking I borrowed this headline from Professor Stephen Hawking. So just in case his lawyers were watching, we added and money as well. So if we look at things have evolved and how they're going to continue to evolve, first there was the post, which was slow and cheap. And then there were couriers to deliver creatives quickly, as we all had deadlines. It was okay to pay a guy $20 to cycle 2 blocks with an envelope. And then around the time I started in business, we were just moving from telex machines, I'm not sure if anyone remembers those, to fax machines. And there was rumors of a color fax, but I'm not sure I ever saw one. So fax was fine if it was black and white and you didn't mind image quality and running out of toner. And then, of course, came email, which we all use every day now. So, I mean, a little bit of trivia. Does anybody know what year the first email was sent? You can all answer now if you wanted to. Have a guess if you wanted to guess at the first year that the first email was sent. Okay, yeah, that's right. It was 1971 by a guy called Ray Tomlinson. He sent it to himself on another computer which was right next to him, which seems a bit of a waste, but people are still doing that today. I mean, how often do we send an email across the office to Bob in accounting or Bill in production when we could just pick up the phone? And looking at the figures, we see that just a few emails here over a period of time and multiplied by many people can actually equal big money. So if we look at proofing, so I mean, you always have the designer, you've got the client, and you always have someone. It could be more than one person in between. It could be the art director, the project manager, or the sales guy, whoever. So you get your initial creative here, and this is just a basic ad for illustration purposes. So the creative brief comes down and the client tells the sales guy or the project manager to do it like this, and then that goes to the graphic designer. So the designer does as he's told, and he sends it to the project manager, who looks at it and sends it to the client. And the client says, yes, you forgot, but this headline here has to be red. It shouldn't be white. So the designer makes the change and sends it to the client. So the question is here, how many emails do you think one change is going to take? One change, one page. Let's just launch a quick poll here. And we're going to go ahead and just launch the poll. So if you could all vote now, I feel a bit like Chris Tarrant on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Is it going to take 1 to 3 emails, 4 to 7, 8 to 12 emails, 13 to 17 emails, 18 emails or more? If you could all vote now, that would be great. Getting some answers coming in now. Okay, that's great. So what we see, I mean, most people have said 4 to 7 emails. A few people have said 8 to 12 emails. But in the real world, when we start looking at it, it actually starts to look a little bit like this, as all the emails start flying backwards and forwards. Graphic designer to project manager to client, back to project manager to graphic designer, and we actually end up with 18 emails and 18 PDFs. And that's just one email and one correction. So this is what we're up against, but most people that are working with emails actually forget that it is actually this much work. So we've got a lot of time here, a lot of time, and time is money, that is email from client to project manager or sales guy. Email from project manager or sales guy to client, to project manager, back to client, back to designer, and it goes round and round and round. And this is just one simple ad with one simple change with just 3 people involved. And of course, as we extrapolate that with more changes and a more complicated creative, more pages and more people involved, then that number of 18 emails is going to increase exponentially, which we'll come on to. Does anyone have any queries at this stage at all? Please do feel free to type, and I think Peter's helping me out with questions. So what we're looking at here is email against online proofing. So what we look at with traditional email proofing, 60 to 80% of the production time is actually proofing time. And this is by the time people check their emails, maybe somebody's on holiday or off sick, and it all adds up to time, and nobody knows exactly where we are in the production process as we're waiting for an email back. There's nothing tangible that we can check or nothing we can touch. But with online proofing, everything is in the cloud with the most up-to-date version always there. It's easy to make comparisons side by side with previous versions, and it's easy to see who suggested what change and when and why. And I'm not here to do a sales job on you today, but WebProof, with one client in 2017, we had 450,000 pages uploaded, 130,000 sticky notes, 120,000 logins, and 25,000 new projects created, which we actually created a saving of up to 35% in time and productivity. I mean, that's one point and a very important one. Does anyone have any questions at this point? So the next point that we can see with email proofing is that there are many versions of the same ad flying around between different parties, version 1, version 2, version 3. So it's very easy to mix up. So the point is that instead of having all those versions flying around, everything is uploaded to WebProof. So we can save up to 35% of production time and costs, and also we can reduce the number of proofs on average per project from 9 proofs to 4 proofs. So when you work in this way, you can all put your comments at the same time, which means as well no more waiting for, say, the planning department to review and email onto the sales department, but then email onto the marketing department, and of course email to the graphic departments. And of course it might be easier for us to initially send emails as we're all raised with emails, but we forget about the entirety of the ecosystem that we're working in. And also with an email we might be a bit more generalistic, but what we've seen is that when people are working within WebProof, which is a real-time version, they tend to be more accurate as everything is recorded and the comments are live in the system for everyone to see. So again, if we move on, if we look down now at data storage and money, of course. I mean, like our friend Time, storage costs money. So if we look at a more advanced multinational corporate campaign, let's say 20 different elements, 16 languages, 4 versions, 1 correction, which is 18 emails. We're looking at 23,000 emails and 23,000 PDFs. And even if you delete them from your local hard drive, they're still stored on the server. And data storage costs money. So with one campaign, you end up with 23,000 PDFs, which then may require frequent cleaning, defragmentation, deduping. And of course, we're governed by file size restrictions. So instead of attaching a file to an email, why not attach the email to the file? The file remains static in the cloud, where multiple people can work on it simultaneously. It saves time, data storage, and ultimately it saves money. So if there's any more questions at this point, please do feel free to type away. So again, project status overview in real time. So what if at any moment in time, no matter where you were in the world, you can get a bang up to the minute update on how all of your projects are doing? I mean, you can phone the office and you can speak to them and they're going to say, yeah, everything's going great. We're just over the halfway point on this campaign or something similar. But using an online approval tool and automating the process, you get a real-time update and you can look at an overview anytime, any place, anywhere. And it's great to have your finger on the pulse. And of course, everything's about benchmarking these days. To keep the guy in the corner office with the spreadsheets happy, we all want to know what's costing us time and money, and we want to make production lean and efficient. So using an online proofing tool, we get the benchmarking. So we can see which project, which clients are making the most corrections, what's holding us up and what's costing us money. So we can streamline there. So our message today is really quite simple. So instead of attaching a large, cumbersome, duplicated file with many versions flying around to an email, why not attach the message to the latest, low-sized, easily accessible file, accessible from anywhere in the world with an internet connection? So this is how an advanced proofing flow might look on any given project. And of course, you've got many parties involved, from studio to proofreader to coordinator, and so on and so on. And everyone has to have their proofing say. And of course, in many cases, there's a specific order that this workflow has to go in. So with a tool like WebProof, everything is status code driven. So by simply changing the code, it shunts the project on to the next person, or back to the previous person, or across. So you can control where this copy goes according to what needs doing to it, and that's all driven by the status codes, which again are programmable. So we can create our own status codes, be it DTP or production A, pre-flight, new version, fix it. So these are things that we can create, which then control the production process. Also, a lot of time is spent generating PDFs, and time is money, right? So you generate a PDF, then you upload the PDF to an email or to an FTP. So with WebProof's InDesign plugin, you can upload and start the workflow directly from InDesign, which saves time, productivity, and of course money. And here we can see just how simple it is, just to using the InDesign plugin straight up to the folder that you want it to go to in WebProof. And here we can see how everything again is status code driven. So also WebProof automatically tracks pixel changes. So you can instantly compare previous versions. You can upload different images to use. You can get automatic notifications via text message if you want. You can or email when changes are made in a project. So simply by changing the status code, it drives the project forward. And you can send documents around the world to the next person in the workflow. And another thing to bear in mind is that although you're uploading large size PDFs, WebProof converts these to JPEGs, which means that simply with internet access, you can instantly view your project. So no more waiting for large PDFs to download. So we'll move on to a live demo here. And again, do feel free to type any questions at all that you might have. Let me see if I can get this to work. There we are. So quite simply, if we go into, say, now I saw, Vicky, you had a question. When you want to view all pages, do you need to tick every page, or can you somehow select all pages? It's very simple. Just by holding the shift down, you can select all pages and then double click to open. And now I can just scroll through the pages here at the top and add my notes as and when I want to. And so that's how I can do my proofing. So while we're on here, we might as well actually attach a sticky note. So if I decide I don't like this picture of the watch, all I have to do is use this picture instead, please, because I'm polite. And then I hit attach, and then I can choose my file, attach the new picture that I want the designer to use, and that's done. If we move on to a page that has some text, I can show you our text highlighter. Actually, not many pages have text on this, do they? There we go. So if we go into here, enable highlighting. Okay, I've decided I don't like this here. So I've got the text in here, and I want the designer to make a change. So even with a magnifying glass, even with a microscope. So the designer now is left in no doubt as to exactly what I want. And let's say my designer isn't English, he is Danish. So I can actually translate that into Danish. And then so it's a true multilingual tool as well. I think we have 60 languages that it works with. So again, and let me now show you some the compare function. This is actually very, very cool. So we can see here that there are some changes that have been made So the guy has gone ahead and used a different picture of the watch, or a different watch actually. But I'm wondering what these changes are on this page. So just by using the compare function, it highlights in yellow exactly what changes have been made. So you upload, okay, I'll answer that in a second, Vicky. You can upload a version on top of the previous version, which is on top of a previous version, which is on top of yet another version. So you can upload all these versions on top of each other, and then it will highlight and show you the changes. So I can see here that the watch has been changed, and also somebody here has written enlarge this image. So they've made the car bigger, and everyone likes big cars. So there you go. So this is extremely useful, especially for smaller, intricate documents where it could be text intensive, it could be very small changes. So you don't have to scour the page with a microscope or a magnifying glass. You can actually, WebProof will do all the work for you by tracking the pixel change. So you can actually compare and see those functions. Let me go ahead and answer Vicky's question here. So it's actually very simple, Vicky. So how do I upload all pages at the same time? Again, I click on the first page, hold down the shift, I click on the last page, and I right click and I go upload. So I can go ahead and upload a new 24-page document. So let's say a new revision of that magazine has come back. I can just go ahead and upload a new 24-page document, and that's ready to go. Let me show you another cool feature here. So let's say that Vicky, I want you to review this document. All I have to go ahead and do is put your email address in. Is it vicky@cozydirect.com? I'm not sure. But I can add anyone's email address in there, and I can choose how long I want them to be able to review this for. So I can give them, say, a 7-day access with an SMS, a text message to their phone, and I can send them a short message as well. So they will get an email, they'll get an SMS text message, hey, can you take a look at these pages? And they have, like I say, a limited access to this project and this project only. Okay, so it's there you go, Vicky. I hope that's right. Okay, so that sent you a message now, and so it's with an S. Apologies. Okay, so that has gone. So again, you're going to have 7-day access to that project and that project alone. That's so if I want you to approve that, then you can go ahead and approve that. So whilst we're talking about users, let's go ahead and look at how we control what our users can see. But before we do that, we'll show you a very quick, and this is free for all of you today. It's we're giving this away. It's our 3D page flip. It's our gift to you. So by right-clicking on any project, we can go into 3D Publish. Now, here's one I made earlier. I hope it shows all right. And so this is something that you can embed this in your web page for catalogs or for brochures, and it's got a very nice function, of course, and you can control things like the background colors and things like that. There are quite a few controls in the 3D panel that you can play with, but this is free. It's free for all users, and it's something that you can all use straight away and start publishing your projects online in 3D and embed on your websites.
I add a comment to this.
Okay, Peter?
I just want to add that this page flip is actually ready in HTML5.
Yes.
So it means that you both have the old version with a lot of features, and you also have the HTML5 version. So it is compatible with all mobile units.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a great feature.
Yeah, as more and more websites, more and more browsers are moving away from Flash, HTML5 is definitely the way forward. So thanks for pointing that out, Peter. Let me show you some how we can control our user access here. So let's say I have I have Jan Adeltoft, who is actually my CEO. So I can control what Jan can see. So if I don't want Jan to see something I'm working on, all I have to go is go into my projects, into my workspace, and let's say I'm working on a top secret project with Ogilvy, part of the WPP group that we work with. So all I have to do is go into permissions and decide that Jan is not to see this. So I right click and detach Jan from this. So my CEO cannot see what I'm doing with Ogilvy and Mather. And but then again, he's a nice guy, so let's actually give him access. So we've attached that now. So what that means is that you can hide pages, and you can so you can control who sees what information and when they see it. And it's very, very simple to do that. So any more questions at all at this stage about setting up users? All you have to do to set up a new user is into users there, right click, or new group. You can have a group of users. You can control whether they're clients or internal users. So right click on on internal users, new user, fill in their details, and you shoot them an email with their password, and you're good to go. And you can choose a role, of course, what you want them to be able to do. And here we have things like status codes, where in the enterprise and the platinum versions, you can actually set up your own status codes, which, as we know, drive the production forward and create a workflow, an automated workflow. And with that, if there's no more questions on the demo, we can come back to that. I'll just move on to some of the automation features that really set WebProof apart from other proofing systems out there. So these are some of the really advanced features that WebProof can do that are all about saving time, saving money. So we can auto retrieve materials, automatically place them in structured folders, and again, it's visible status-driven production. We can auto zip, unzip, FTP delivery to location, auto return, file archiving as well, auto pre-flight, auto fix. We can hide pages, XML integration. We can also auto create a project as well. So corrections without involving designers with our Adobe Illustrator plugin as well. So so if you have a text document, that can be sent, and you can actually make corrections on WebProof, and that will translate to the InDesign server. And so what it means is that somebody that doesn't have to be a designer can actually make changes. And of course, we have an auto catalog builder as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just transfer to Peter for a second. Is that okay, Peter? Hello, Peter?
Yes, sorry, James. I was just answering a question here. So yes, you're right. You can say this is an extra layer you can add to your WebProof system. So of course, in the enterprise version, you can customize your workflow, but with the automation, you have the option to integrate to other systems, and you can automate, you can say, the file flow. And maybe that sounds a bit boring, but by automating all the, you can say, redundant tasks, you save a lot of time that you could see as waste. So all we want to do is remove that waste and then have more time on all the tasks that adds value. So if you have a production, for example, you want to use the time on layout, and you don't want to use time on, or too much time at least, on converting files, moving files, stuff like that. Create projects, uploads, pre-flight, stuff like that. And on top of that, we have some cool features. For example, we have a feature called direct InDesign correction, and it means that you just by opening your pages in WebProof can edit the text directly. So it means that you don't have to add comments anymore and wait for the designer to make your changes. You can just add the changes yourself to the texts. So it can give, you can say, the proofer some more power, and it will save you some loops in your production, and you can also save time to market. And we have a lot of extra functions in the automation part. We can also automate the catalog, for example, by using our catalog builder function. So it's only imagination that that you can say sets the limits here.
I was going to ask you to show the catalog automation, actually, if you have that, so that you can set up. But I was just going to answer a question there from Vicky. It's very simple, Vicky. So let's say you've got your project here. I'm going to use the Danska cricket one now. So you just go right click and you can go into 3D publish. If I take one that I haven't previously done, it will take maybe 10 minutes or so to render, and then you get an embeddable link. But again, here is one that I did. So just go to 3D publish, and here's the link. And this one is Flash-based, but it actually has video. So you can actually add video and audio. So it kind of brings a third dimension to having an online catalog. It's very cool.
We are very happy with the young team.
I'm sorry? And cricket is actually very big in Denmark. So I was very surprised to hear this as well, but there you go. And again, you can add video and audio actually into your catalogs. HTML5 doesn't currently support this, but the Flash-based one that we have does. So you actually have the choice which one you want to work with.
Can I comment on that, James? Actually, the HTML5 version is going to be released with video very soon. So, and I also got a few questions here. So
I can see a question from Vicky. I was going to show you. So
to start with, I can answer the question about the InDesign plugin.
Okay.
So in short, as James showed in the presentation to start with, we have an InDesign plugin. So the idea is that it's very easy to download and install. And when you have installed it, you just open a panel in InDesign that looks like the navigator in WebProof, and then you simply just point to a job and upload. So the idea is that you save time on uploading simply because now you don't even have to produce a PDF first. You simply just upload directly from InDesign. So you don't have to manage a lot of PDF and versions of PDFs. You just upload directly to InDesign. We also have an Illustrator plugin that does the same. And and on top of that, you can say it's very easy to handle. For example, if you are working on a catalog and you have different, you can say, sections of your catalog. Maybe you're working in spreads. Then you can you simply just upload the spread directly. You don't have to point to a specific page. Our plugin knows that the spread is, for example, page 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
So all in all, it saves a lot of time by using the InDesign plugin. Vicky also asked if we can show the example with the Lidl catalog.
Yeah, she subsequently asked how we add videos, so I've just gone in here to the 3D control panel, and you'll see this here. I'm not sure how much of this is available in the free version. I think you do get it. So, but I think Peter,
actually in the free version you don't have the I'm not sure. I have to think what I'm saying right now, but I don't think that you have the links and media module in the free version, but at least you have that, of course, in the basic versions and upwards.
Yeah, you can you can 3D publish, but I think to add, you can see here I've gone into links and media. I don't believe that that's in the free version, so I think you have to upgrade there. But you can actually simply just draw a box and then upload your video. It's you can take it from a YouTube video or from a file on your computer, and it's very simple. It's very easy to do, and I'm happy to meet one-on-one, Vicky, and I can sort of demonstrate that for you anytime. So, Peter, do you want to show the catalog builder?
Just a second, James.
I'm not sure if you have that available. This is a way through XML integration that we can take. We can generate a 48-page catalog in 30 minutes or less. So basically, by loading the fields, and it then communicates via XML with the data, and it can build a catalog to your preset preferences in terms of layout, colors, etc. And it can just it can do it very, very quickly indeed. So it takes all of the work out of actually building a catalog. And Peter's going to demonstrate that shortly, hopefully.
Yeah. Okay, James, you can change the screen.
Let me figure out how to do that.
You can change presenter.
Bear with me a second.
No problem.
I can't see you.
Maybe I can do it myself, actually. So let me try from here.
Oh yes, you're an organizer.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess you can see my screen, and you have. Let me show you two things while I'm here. So the first thing I can try and show you here is we have a simple demo here. It's a template. So in Catalog Builder, you can define a template. It's defined with simple tags like price tags and also image tags. So what you do is you simply just add all the templates and set up the system. So in short, when you are going to change and merge all your data, meaning your templates, your texts, you can say your campaign briefing, for example, then you simply just change the status code, and it should take around a minute or so. Then our Webflow server in the background, you never see this functionality. It's lovely easy once it's set up. but right now it should be running in the background, I hope. So right now I'm just recycling the preview, and I'm crossing fingers. And you know, 1 minute can take more than a minute when you are online. That's how it is. I see something has changed here, and I'm waiting for the preview. Of course, this is not something that you should be waiting for in real life. You would just upload your new data, your new campaign data, and after a while it will send you a notification to the new project, and then you just click in on the page and see the changes. So I guess this is not working for me.
Do you want
to go ahead and sometimes?
Do you want to exit that and come back out and in again, Peter?
Yeah, I will show you something more fun here, because instead I would like to show you how our InDesign correction feature works.
Yes.
It's very simple. So you just open a page, and then you from the menu choose this function called Enable InDesign Correction. And it tells you that you shouldn't delete brackets. You can't, actually. The brackets just tells you where the styles are. So you go in and open a text box, and you simply just write your changes, click Render Correction, and now you can see the change. And you can just go back again and make changes to other text boxes like this. And okay, it actually just told me that there was overflow in the text box, and that's a nice message to get, because that's important to know that the text is too big for the text box. But this is simply just how our InDesign correction tool works. It's very simple, and it once the proof is done, simply just hit the save button, and it will update the document, the actual document on the server, so you don't have to involve a designer. So let's go back and see if our yes, we were lucky today. So now I went back to the catalog function, and now we can see, if I open the document, that it went from the template version, and now it assembled the file and put in the right images, logos, and texts.
This would take a designer, I mean, one page like that. I mean, I'm quite good at graphic design, but it would take a designer maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes to actually do that. Easy, maybe more. So by automating the process, we can save an awful lot of time, an awful lot of money.
That's right, James. Of course, we need to do the setup first, but if the setup is, you can say, is very structured, then it's easy to do it. So yeah, and of course, you can say this is some of our more advanced features, but feel free to write to us and come back to us if you want to have a more detailed demo with us.
Yes, of course. Do you want to hand
I can
presentership back to me? I'll just go over a few more bits.
Of course. There it is.
That's great, and I'm back. Okay, so just to show again just a few more bits. So what we have here is a basic flow that we looked at in the in the PowerPoint there. So it's quite basic. We've got an internal user, we've got a client, possibly a sharing user as well, that has sort of limited access, and around it goes until it's approved. And then when we look at something like the enterprise version, it gets a little bit more complicated. So we have multiple parties involved, and we can automate an awful lot of this. So this can be automated. And again, it's status code driven. Simply by changing the status code, it drives production on to the next stage, and then the next stage, and then finally through to print. And then when we automate it even further by introducing a Webflow file server, again, we can see the different inputs here, FTP, mail, a portal, for example, and then it goes, again, status code driven, and everything communicates with the Webflow file server, and it moves it on right through to pre-flight or publishing, sending into the printer, making sure all the fonts are there, that everything is present and correct, ready for publication. So it's a complete workflow solution with things like InDesign Server, a pit stop server, and I'd say we have direct InDesign corrections that Peter just illustrated. So as it says here, it is simple, smart, and effective. So if we move back, we're coming to the end of the presentation now. So if you do have any more questions, please feel free to ask them. But if we move back to the slideshow there. So again, these are all of our automated features, and there's the diagram we just looked at on our website. So WebProof is a very, very powerful bit of kit, really. I mean, the power really lies under the hood. And the more you delve into WebProof, the more powerful it becomes, and the more it can automate your processes. So again, let's have a quick poll here. So what we're gonna say is, with this amount of email, with this amount of automation, rather, I've just launched a poll. Where do we think sort of email is in terms of automating or in terms of proofing? So if you can all vote now. Email is dead. Long live online proofing. That's what we want to hear. If anybody else wants to vote, just go ahead there. Okay, great. So, yeah, some answers coming in now. I'm glad to see that the majority of people here today seem to be converts. So we've obviously done a good job that online proofing is definitely the way forward. And so, I mean, if we just look at why you should consider online proofing, there are so many reasons. I mean, I can read through these, but you can see them all there. So again, it's about accountability. You can get that precise status-driven overview, page by page, project by project. You can see exactly where you're at. You don't have to sort of email and say, how is this project coming along, or where are we at on this on the brochure campaign. You can see where you're at. You can see how many pages are in correction status, how many are approved, how many have yet to be sort of looked at. And designers know when a designer opens WebProof, he's going to see the correction files. He's not going to see the stuff that doesn't need to be worked on. He's just going to see what he needs to see to work on it. And for your clients as well, if for those of you that sort of proof things with clients, you've got easygoing annotation tools with clients with the sticky notes, with the text highlighter as well. And let's not forget the environmental impact. I mean, how many times do we print reams of paper, that for proofing that we just scribble over, and then they go in the bin? So by doing this, we do away with having reams of paper on your desk, and of course with all the toner that carries, and then all the paper that carries with it as well. So we're saving time and money, but we're also friendly to trees, and we love dolphins. So let's not forget that. And we've got, again, let's not forget, security is everything in our documents. So ISO 27001 security certified. So again, fast and easy upload directly from InDesign. And if anybody wants help, no, the plugin's been available for quite some time, Joanne. So if you need help installing the plugin, I'm sure Peter can help. So again, saving time, not using emails. You've got. Oh, I forgot to show detailed documentation. So if we go back to our, say this page here, and I want to see what's been going on with this page, all I've got to do is right click and print. And what you can see here, can I zoom? Yeah. So what we can see here is on the 19th of July last year, I said change this to Chinese. I'm taking a course in Cantonese for those of you that didn't know. And I said make this green to signify avocado. So I love avocados. So what we have here is complete accountability. You can see who suggested what changes and when they suggested it. So again, other users log in and they make suggestions. We track everything. We log everything. So if there's ever let's say you publish something with an error or something like that, and they say, well, who suggested this? You can see exactly who suggested this and when they suggested it. So you've got complete accountability for your projects and also for your clients, which accountability is obviously very important these days. And again, to get that, all you have to do is right click on any page or any number of pages, and we can select different pages by holding the shift key down. Right click and print, and here we can see we can add an express user, which we've done. We can change the status as well, and we can upload a new version on top. And remember, when we upload that new version on top, we can always compare the changes that have been made from version 1 to version 2, version 3. We can always compare those. Okay, so just going back to the final couple of slides there. So yeah, detailed documentation, and because of this, you've got more time to spend on what's going to make you money, because you've got more time to spend with your sales team. And we were able to reduce production time for some of the biggest companies in Europe by 14 days. So they start their projects now 14 days later than they used to, because they don't have to spend the time with things like the catalog builder. We've actually saved them time. We're very big in the retail market, where you know how the supermarkets come out with the catalogs every couple of weeks with their special offers. This is where WebProof excels. And so that pretty much brings us to the end of the webinar. I mean, I want to really thank everyone for listening. We've had a great attendance, and really I'm delighted to see pretty much all of you still here. So I'd like to open it up for a Q&A session. If anyone does have any questions, please type them into the box. And don't forget to take your white paper handouts. There's a handout there for you all. And register for free at webproof.com for your 3D page fit for your website. And if anybody would like a recording of this, please feel free to email me. And my email address is there as well, james@webproof.com. Not sure why the N is dropped off there. And Peter is pm@webproof.com. So we're here, and for any questions, or please feel free to vacate the premises if you've had enough of me.
No thanks, James. But we have got lots of questions, and I've tried to answer some of them, and
yeah.
We will follow up after the meeting with every help we can do from here.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy to send this on to you, Joanne. No problem at all. And Vicky and Stuart, great to see you all.
Yeah, thanks from here.
And we're very happy to help with the InDesign plugin installation process. So just email Peter and Peter can guide you through it, or yeah, I think Peter's the guy because that's kind of your area of expertise, isn't it, Peter?
That's right, James.
Tita, did you have any questions at all? Anything anything you'd like us to explain further?
No, I think that we have been talking for a lot of time here, so I guess that maybe our attendees are getting tired. So let's follow up after the meeting with all the questions we got, and then just feel free to come back to us.
Yeah.
The rest of you. So.
Yes. Cindy, did you have any questions at all? C'è qualcosa che non ho spiegato bene? Se c'è qualcosa che potrei spiegare in italiano, sono più felice di farlo. Indre, if you have any questions at all, I am here to help, and Stuart, Tita. Okay, thank you, Cindy. Spero che lei ha capito il mio italiano. Indre, did you have any questions at all? Well, Cindy, do feel free to email me at james@webproof.com. If you'd like a more detailed demonstration, I'd be very happy to help and answer any questions that you have. Oh, how is Connecticut today? Hey, it must be early in the morning there, like 9 a.m., 10 a.m., something like that. Snowy. Nice. Yeah. North American winters can be harsh. I have colleagues, I have friends in New York. They go through it every year. Cindy, you're very, very welcome. Thank you so much for attending and for your attentiveness. And look, anything we can do, we're here to help. We really want to do a good job for you guys. And look, email me anytime for a private demonstration, and we might be able to persuade Peter to join as well. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close the meeting now. Remember, I'm james@webproof.com. And, oh, right, okay. Thanks, Joanne. And I believe, Joanne, we do a lot of work with your colleagues in Europe, an awful lot of work. So we'll be excited to work with you in America as well, of course.